Many thanks for choosing us. We start with your election headquarters because barely hours after NDC got the green light to proceed with Saturday's presidential and parliamentary primaries, the party has been hit with a fresh legal action. We have details for you shortly, but first it was all excitement for some members of the NDC as an Accra High Court struck out a case filed by the NDC flag bearer hopeful Dr. Kwabena Dufo against tomorrow's primaries. Dr. Dufo had alleged the delegates list handed him by the party was bloated, hence a decision to seek the court's intervention to block the primaries. He, however, informed the court today that he does not intend to pursue the case any longer. Lawyer for the NDC, Godwin Tamaklo, says the party now has a green light to proceed with the primaries.
What's important is that today the respected Dr. Kwabena Dufo had asked his lawyer to seek the leave of the court to discontinue the action, and same has been done. And as you heard us in court, we're not opposed. So today there's nothing hindering the election coming on tomorrow. And I want to assure the rank and file of our party that tomorrow we'll have the election across the length and breadth of the country.
I mean, I saw the process that you filed. You said that majority of the issues with the list had been dealt with.
At this point, that the matter has been discontinued. Let's leave it like that.
Lawyers for Dr. Dufo announced to the court that they had instructions to discontinue the matter, and so as we speak, the matter has been discontinued. I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Council of Elders of the party, the chairman of the party, the general secretary, for the effort they've put in place in resolving this matter. I also want to thank Dr. Dufo, the presidential candidate, for his magnanimity and to accept to withdraw this matter from court. What this shows is that the NDC is united. Yes. The NDC is forging ahead in the 2024 elections as a united party. Yes. Now, as to whether the elections will take place or not, the party has already issued a press statement signed by the General Secretary that the elections are coming off tomorrow. And I can announce to the whole of the NDC fraternity that these elections will take place tomorrow, Saturday.
That opens the door for us to be able to proceed with the elections tomorrow. So we want to use the opportunity to send a message to all the rank and file across all the country, all our delegates, all our aspirants, that we are ready to go right ahead with the elections tomorrow. So we're going to immediately get in touch with the Electoral Commission and arrange that all the logistics are able to reach to the places that they ought to reach. Thank you all of you for the cooperation.
You represent the party. There were some issues that the Dufo camp raised, and more reason they came to court. Subsequently, it has been withdrawn. Have you satisfied the requests that they made to which they came to court?
Yeah, it's been satisfied. The delegate list is the main primary document that we are depending on, and this delegate list has been ready, made available to all the contestants. So really, as far as we are concerned, there really was no case to begin with. But we are happy they didn't decided to withdraw it.
The Electoral Commission stated that it would be difficult for them to be able to...
I've already explained that we will make sure every assistance is provided for the materials to reach in good time.
Do you have any other thing with respect to the fact that there may also be delays as a result of what has transpired?
We will ensure that all the materials are there on time.
Meanwhile, a fresh injunction has been filed against the primaries tomorrow. One Edgar Asamoah Boateng has filed an application at the High Court in Adentan seeking an order to injunct the polls. My colleague Samuel Mbura joins us via Zoom with more on this. Samuel, what does the injunction say?
So, in his statement of claim, Asamoah Boateng, who's a card-bearing member of the NDC in the Wapan North, says he is surprised the first and second defendants have failed to provide the voters register to his representatives and all other aspirants, including presidential aspirants. The plaintiff adds that the failure to provide a proper photo album of eligible voters has caused a lot of rancor and acrimony in the party, and that all attempts to obtain a proper photo register or album has fallen on deaf ears, and all indications are that the impending internal party elections would be a disaster. It goes further to say that the first defendant itself has been given conflicting directives on the issuance of a register and is fueling the uncertainty surrounding the credibility of the impending elections. It asks that that the first and second defendants' reluctance to provide a complete and credible photo album ahead of the elections for verification marks of a plan to create undue advantage for manipulation of the presidential and parliamentary primaries, a reason he is in court.
This Edgar Boateng, do we know?
Can you come again? I missed that.
Who is Edgar Boateng? Is he a member of the NDC?
Yes, so he is one of the parliamentary aspirants in the upcoming elections, and a reason he's raising all of these concerns.
Right. Joining me also is Professor Ali Daeso, who he is the head of Political Science Department at the University of Ghana. I'm grateful for your time, Prof. What does this mean for the party? Hello, Prof. Yes, Prof.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I believe you're following all these developments, and I am asking what this actually means to the party.
I think it can imply two things. One, that not been proper mechanisms for people to address their demands within the party. Of mystery and factory. In the first issue, if there are no opportunities for us to address their grievances in the political party, they may speak, or if they are not happy with the way that their grievances have been addressed internally, they may seek to.
Prof, can you position yourself well? It's been difficult hearing you.
Is it better?
Yes, let's go ahead and let's see.
So I was thinking that, there may be two issues here. The first issue is that there are no forward channels.
There seems to be a problem with the audio. Let's get off and join the Zoom again, and let's see if it gets better, because we can hardly hear you, Professor Ali Daeso. But as we wait for him to do that, earlier the Electoral Commission had indicated it will not be able to supervise the election if the legal tussle were unresolved. Can the party count on them now for tomorrow's elections? We'll be making efforts to get a response from the EC. Well, before we bring you that, let's get back to Professor Ali Daeso, who was making a point about how this actually affects the party. Prof, go ahead. I believe we can hear you now.
Thank you so much, Aisha.
Yes.
So there were two issues here. The first could be that the internal dispute resolution mechanism is not properly functioning. And for that matter, people may decide to resort to outside means of addressing grievances, which I think is not right, because the NDC have made available all opportunities for resolving disputes as far as these elections and other elections that they have held in the country is concerned. There is always a standing committee that deals with these issues. And I believe the very issue that this individual is raising has been the same issue that the Dufour campaign were raising, and they have decided that they are now satisfied with what is going on and have withdrawn the case. So if I think it is not so much about procedure of resolving disputes in the party, the second option could be clearly that there is plain mischief and bad faith, that the candidate is acting in bad faith, just to drag the processes back, just to embarrass the NDC, and just to make the NDC not be able to hold its primaries tomorrow, and the subsequent consequences and challenges that will follow. Because if you are a true loyal supporter of the party, at this time that they are battling with time, to save resources that has always been invested and spent to get this thing done, the party has been regoing a rebuilding process from the branch level up to this level, and tomorrow's event is going to crown all these rebuilding processes. then a lawyer, dedicated member of the party will go and do this just to injunct the elections means that he's acting in bad faith. There could be other reasons, but I believe that this is not a matter of not exhausting internal democratic options of addressing an issue or the unavailability of same. I think the NDC has to exercise restraint, pay more attention to their support base, and take very critical notice of what is happening. But it also suggests that when people begin to attack a party this way and drag a party this way, then it means that there is something good and positive that the party is doing or likely going to achieve. So whatever way it is, they should strengthen internal dispute resolution mechanisms, but also be very watchful of saboteurs within their ranks.
What options are available to the party in the event that there are saboteurs, as you actually mentioned? Can it invoke its constitution?
Yes, I think the NDC as a political party has the right to invoke disciplinary measures for actions or inactions that undermine or put the name and the repute of the name and the image of the party in disrepute. So if the party is able to establish after all the dust has settled that these particular motives were not just born out of critical grievances that these individuals were facing, but is actually meant to sabotage the processes, they can revoke their membership, they can institute any other disciplines that will let people learn lessons. Because I think at the last minute like this, when somebody takes this kind of measure, there is something at stake, honestly.
Prof. Ali Daeso, I'm grateful for your time. He's the head of Political Science Department at the University of Ghana. Earlier, the Electoral Commission had indicated it will not be able to supervise the election if the legal tussle were unresolved. Can the party count on them now for tomorrow's elections? We do not know yet if the party has been served with this writ, but if it does, what does it mean? Will the EC be able to supervise the election? Will it even come on? But we're told the commission is currently in a meeting and will engage us as soon as they are through with the meeting. We'll keep you updated as and when we get the information. But back here at the election headquarters, we've been rolling up our sleeves in readiness for a comprehensive coverage of the primaries. Until the latest development, our plans were in limbo. So what's now? Head of our political desk, Evans Mensa, spoke with me earlier. He gave a breakdown of what to expect in our coverage.
The thing that we now will need to look at is because Dr. Dufour had started this process and almost created a massive wedge and threw a huge spanner in the works that may have led to a no-show tomorrow. How are delegates going to react to that? Will the delegates punish him for doing this and putting them on tenterhooks and leaving everybody uncertain? Or will the delegates see their argument that they were actually fighting for them because some of them were not in the register and their details have been taken away, and they may end up going to the polls tomorrow and realizing that their details were not there? That is a tricky one. And already I've seen people within the John Mahama camp using that as a campaign message, that look at the man who claims that he wants to lead the party. He is embarking on an anti-party crusade by dragging the party to court. The question is, well, how are the delegates going to react to that? And that is a key thing going forward. They may damage Dr. Dufour even more tomorrow.
Well, John Dramani Mahama's campaign team has demanded an apology from Vice President Dr. Bawumia for leading an economic management team that has come to naught. The team is also demanding an apology from Dr. Bawumia for failing to fulfill promises he made to his people in the Northeast region. Spokesperson of John Dramani Mahama campaign team, Joyce Muktari, said Ghanaians will not vote for a leader whose intentions are just calculated to deceive and scam his people. Mrs. Muktari was speaking in the Vice President's home region. Elias Otanko has more.
Over the past week, news emerged that Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia met with a majority caucus in Parliament and finally declared before them his intention to contest to lead the new Patriotic Party in the 2024 elections. The news comes as former President John Dramani Mahama is also seeking to be re-elected to lead the opposition NDC. The two leaders come from the north, and many are already predicting stiff competition if both are elected by their respective parties. However, reacting to the news about the vice president presidential bid, spokesperson for the John Mahama campaign, Joyce Muktari, said the vice president is unfit to lead the country because he has failed to deliver the promises he made to his own people in the northeast region.
You know, I'm traveling through Dr. Mahmoud Bamia's own constituency, and I'm asking myself, where are all the promises that he made even to his own community, to the region, the northeast? You understand? So I don't even have to see them. I'm here with you. Tell me one thing that you have seen that is different. We've been to Wale, we've been to Gambaga. We are still on. Just show me one thing. The road is still undone.
According to Mrs. Muktari, who is also a special aide to the former president, Dr. Bawumia, rather than seeking to be president, should be apologizing to Ghanaians for all the challenges of the country.
Nobody wants a leader who lies to them, a leader who carries out deceptions, a leader who scams his people, a leader whose intentions are just calculated to deceive. I believe that is not the sort of leader that we all expect. So please, if I were Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia, I would go home and sit and reconsider my position. Or I'll apologize to the good people of Ghana for all the promises I made that have totally failed. I will apologize for all the challenges to do with our economy and the fact that he has actually run Ghana into a ditch. I'll apologize for leading an economic management team that has come to naught and done absolutely nothing, for promising to arrest the dollar and failing to do so, for knowing that there's money in the Bank of Ghana and in the votes and that you work there that have all come to a standstill and have completely failed. I think that the leader that Ghana wants at this time is not one who is preoccupied by power, by lies, by falsehoods, and by insults.
Madam Joyce Muktari was speaking in the home region of the vice president, where the former president was campaigning for his re-election. Meanwhile, the Northeast Regional Executive of the NDC have declared their support for the former president. Speaking on behalf of the executives, the regional chairman, Abdul Rauf Tanko, urged all the party delegates to give John Dramani Mahama 100% vote on Saturday, May 13th.
You shouldn't believe these elections we are going into. I don't think there is somebody in who doesn't feel the hardship inflicted on us by the Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia government. Is there anybody here? The best person who can rescue us from the difficulties is His Excellency John Dramani.
The 2.5-day tour of the Northeast region took Mr. Mahama and his team to all 6 constituencies in the region, where he respectively met with the party stakeholders, including delegates and the newly elected parliamentary aspirants. Addressing the party supporters, Mr. Mahama then appeals to the party delegates to vote for him to lead the party. He also assured to resource the party constituency and branch level executives and promised a reward scheme for them after victory in 2024.
And we're going to put the ballot box in your care. We have to make sure that nothing untoward happens. We're going to let you select party and sit at the polling station. And on 7 December 2024, none of us is going to sleep until we have finished counting both the parliamentary and presidential, and they have signed our pay sheets, and the collation has been completed before we go to bed. And for every constituency that is able to give us their results and their pay sheets by 12 midnight, that constituency is going to get a answer on the road.
The Bono East Regional Office of the NDC is, as part of its party's preparation towards the upcoming parliamentary and presidential primaries, organized a day's workshop to educate aspirants and agents on the do's and don'ts of the upcoming elections. Regional Communications Officer of the party, Suleimana Mustafa, emphasized that the move is aimed at empowering the agents as well as ensuring peace before, during, and after the polls. And as Sabit once again reports.
Ahead of the NDC's parliamentary and presidential primaries scheduled to take place this Saturday, May 13th, The Bono East Regional Office of the party held a day's workshop for all aspirants and their agents across the region's 11 constituencies to educate them on the rules and regulations governing the polls. Regional Communications Officer Suleimana Mustafa noted that the move would help expose the agents to the do's and don'ts of the electoral process.
As we are aware, we are going into parliamentary and presidential primaries, and this is the first time such a thing is happening, combining both parliamentary and presidential elections. Definitely, we are going to have polling agents, we are going to have aspirants, and this kind of elections is not like a general one whereby maybe a day or 2 days to elections, there's no campaign. Even on the campaign grounds, there's going to be people campaign. On the election day, there's going to be people campaigning. So we've brought the aspirants and their agents to teach them the do's and don'ts of the election day, and as well as ballot accounting, so that as an internal elections, at the end of the day, we wouldn't have any crowns coming from any camp. So this is the main reason why we brought the 11 constituencies, the aspirants with their agents to come and learn what we want them to do on Saturday.
Former regional secretary of the party and a member of the training team, Mohammed Shamsuddin, emphasized that the move forms part of the party's quest towards enhancing its workforce in the build-up to the 2024 general elections.
It is incumbent on any serious political party preparing for a bigger election to do a household, if I call it a household chore, that is to try to sensitize your human resource, those who are to man the election. This is an internal election, but don't forget, after the internal election, we're going to face the bigger picture, which is the 2024 election. Because you know, when you have a good agent, election is about agent. If you have a good agent, you are good to go. So as we've trained them, these agents are going to represent their various candidates on Saturday. After the Saturday, there's a lot of training that the party will embark on to enhance the workforce of the party toward 2024 election.
With only 2 out of the 37 candidates being women, Suleimana Mustafa expressed worry at the number of women contesting for the parliamentary polls and asked that steps are being taken to groom more women to actively participate in the party's communications team, a move that would encourage women participation in the party.
The problem we've had with women in terms of politics is the grooming. People are not giving them the opportunity. People are not grooming them. So we need to groom them and let them understand that politics is not for them. Look at the statistics. Women are the majority in the country. So why is it that politics, which is about governance, and when it comes to our homes, it is our mothers who take care of us. Then when it comes to governance, the women are left behind. So we believe with grooming, by the year 2024, Bono is per se, for that I can put my bet on that will have a lot of women in the frontline politics.
The party currently has 8 out of the 11 constituencies of the region and are working towards winning all 11 seats in the 2024 general elections. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Tichiman.
Ghana's official creditors could give financing assurances to the International Monetary Fund by Friday to ensure the country secures its much-needed bailout. And that's financial assurance are a key step for the nation to secure a $3 billion IMF loan, sources told Reuters. And joining me via Zoom is Professor John Gachi. He is a professor of finance and dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School. Grateful for your time, Prof. Is this likely to happen? If it does, what will this mean to Ghana's economy?
Well, I think what we need is a concrete statement of assurance from the creditors. We do not want managing of our expectation in this manner. To say that we are near receiving or clinching an assurance from the creditors is no statement. What we need is that they have concluded their work and they have granted that assurance. And when that assurance is given, then the IMF can set a date where the board will meet to discuss matters relating to Ghana's application. So that is what we need. So I believe that there is some sort of massaging of information to sort of provide some kind of information that will realign the expectation of investors, and that may turn out to be very expensive cost for the economy. So I believe what we need to be doing right now is to maintain the focus that we are awaiting the assurance from creditors. When that does come, then we proceed.
So let's look at it this way. If indeed it does happen that we get the financial assurances, what next on our move to have a bailout? And what will that mean for our economy?
I think when an assurance is given, then the IMF board will have to fix us into its timetable as to when they want to meet on our case and deliberate and pass a vote to decide in favor of Ghana or against Ghana. So those are the steps we are waiting for. First, the assurance given, then the IMF consideration. As it is now, we are now on the meeting timetable of the IMF board. And when that comes on board, then when the assurance comes on board, then we may be placed on the calendar or on a timetable. Then we proceed from there.
And so if they meet us after that, what will happen? That means they're giving us a $3 billion?
When they assess the assurance given, and then they now put everything into a package. We believe that we have done what we require to do as a country. So all those things will be looked at if indeed we have done all that we needed to do, plus what we needed to do with the external creditors. Then the green light is given for the IMF to proceed. So it's still a process.
Okay. Okay. I'm grateful for your time, Professor John Gachi. He's Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, and he's been explaining that we really need something tangible and not just an assurance to make us understand that we're getting the IMF bill. But he also tells us that once we get this assurance, that means a meeting will be set up for Ghana to meet the executive board. Then we can make progress from where we are. This is something we are monitoring. Definitely, you will get more and details of this on Joy News. In other stories, in a tense and dramatic scene, emergency responders and local officials are gathered at the banks of the Volta River, bracing for a potential disaster. But this isn't a real emergency. It's a simulation exercise known as Daohoso, designed to test the readiness of state agencies in the event of a dam spillage. The exercise, which is part of the Volta River Authority's emergency preparedness plan, took place in communities most at risk in the unlikely event of a spill. My colleague Michael Ashali was there for Joy News.
Sirens blaring at full amplitude, alerting residents of this community living near the Volta River of a possible danger. The Volta River Authority, VRA, has taken a difficult decision to open the gates of the Akosobo Dam, causing water levels in adjoining communities to rise quickly. At Atimpoku and Jijokopa, some residents flee their home for safety. Others caught in a disaster helplessly perch on trees. It's a cry for help. Moments before the disaster, the VRA and the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, sent a warning to authorities in communities most at risk, and quickly, help is dispatched. Personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service carry the injured and the elderly to safety, while the Navy clears the waterways and rescues those caught off guard. The National Ambulance Service transfers those severely injured to the nearest health facility.
Are your men there?
At the Sujaman District Command Center, pressure is building on the emergency response team. On the ground, Division Officer 1 Joseph Kofi Forson briefs the various teams on the progress of the evacuation.
So we are still sounding the alarm for people who are hiding to know that help has come. So they should all come out so that we can rescue them. That is what we are doing. We have also deployed the Navy boat. It is patrolling on the river to make sure that those who are swimming, I don't know where they are going, they will bring them back to the shore so that we evacuate them. And then again, the NADMO people are also assisting with the evacuation. So a lot of our officers are down there doing search and rescue at this moment.
The Akosomo Dam contains millions of gallons of water. In an unlikely event that the dam exceeds its holding capacity, or worst case scenario, the force of the water cracks open the dam, it is expected that the communities downstream will flood and displace more than 300,000 individuals. Lives and properties may be lost. But this isn't a real emergency. It's a simulation exercise known as Dawohoso, designed to test the readiness of state agencies in the event of a dam spillage. The exercise, which is part of the Volta River Authority's Emergency Preparedness Plan, is taking place in communities most at risk in the unlikely event of a spill. The exercise was conducted simultaneously in the Esujaman, Adan and Nofton assemblies. A National Emergency Operations Center was coordinating the situation. Deputy Director General of NADMO, Saji Amedonu, is satisfied with the exercise.
I think the men have done quite well in getting the activities coordinated. There will be some shortfalls here and there. We'll be doing what we call hot watch, which you can say is a debriefing. Then we'll also do an after-action review. The report of the after-action review will form basis for doing a review of maybe the emergency preparedness plan.
Deputy Chief Executive in charge of engineering and operations at VRA, Engineer Edward Eko Obeng Kenzo, shares a different view.
Scale of 1 to 10, I would say maybe 6. I won't say 7. I'll say 6.
Engineer Obeng Kenzo, however, suggests that the simulation should be conducted regularly.
It's every 10 years. That's what we are supposed to do. But I would say that from all the meetings that were conducted, and because some of the people in the various agencies also change over the period, the 10 years is a very long time. So those who have experienced before, the next 10 years they may not be there. So those who come in will be new people. So you can't say they have a very perfect plan. Everybody comes with whatever they've experienced before from the other agencies and help you to build the plan. So I consider from the discussion, the new revised plan, I would say that we can move us up to like 7. Up to maybe 7.5.
Director in charge of engineering services at VRA, Engineer Kweku Wiafi says the lessons of the simulation will guide the team to enhance their response to emergencies.
Of course, it wasn't all perfect. There are a few areas that we think we could improve. But at the end of the exercise, that's the whole purpose of testing. I mean, you test to identify gaps, to identify weaknesses. We are going to look at those gaps and weaknesses and then come up with protocols that will address all those gaps and weaknesses. The idea is to prepare for the real one. We don't know when it's going to happen and we wish it never happens, but we still feel that readiness, being ready, is critical.
Certainly, we are hoping that as a country, we will be prepared not just when the dam decides to break, but in other disasters that may happen across the country. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
We're still live on Joy News today. We are coming to you from our studios in Kokomlemle on Fanofa Street. Let's take a break. When we return, there's business.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Business here on Joy News today with me, Beverly Broom. Now, many investors are looking for adequate information on how businesses are considering environmental, social, and governance, as well as other initiatives of the Sustainable Development Goals. To this end, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, together with other partner agencies, has been engaging members on the need to include integrated reporting in their operations. Now, according to the organization, Ghanaian businesses can take advantage of the current trend to attract more investors into key sectors of the economy. Here's a report.
The move to get accountants and financial officers abreast of current trends in financial reporting and environmental sustainable governance is influenced by the ongoing global shift towards achieving targets in the Sustainable Development Goals. The Forum on Integrated Financial Reporting is timely to help practitioners in Ghana have a better understanding of what investors are expecting in the current trends. Global President for the ACCA, Joseph Opeyemi Owolabi, spoke to Joy Business after a forum by the Ghana Office for Members on Integrated Financial Reporting in Accra.
There are significant opportunities and advantages for Ghanaian businesses to actually go the integrated reporting way. Our speaker today touched on the fact that South Africa, not just on the continent, but in the world, we're leading with this in the early 2010s. Ghana has a significant opportunity to get on that train because of some of the initiatives, the year of the return, beyond the return, and some of this initiative you've been doing. You've been telling the story, the African story, the Ghanaian story. So by incorporating integrated report into it, it allows investors to understand not just how the banks are doing or the telecoms or your digital companies or agriculture, but they see the story. They see how agriculture is impacting communities, vulnerable communities, how the farmers are contributing to the GDP, about currently going to about 50%. And all of these stories you can, leveraging integrated reporting, show that to investors. But remember, integrated reporting is not just for investors, it's for the communities.
President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Senna Dake, believes that training is critical to enhance the skills of members towards the attainment of the SDGs.
Sustainability accounting is one of the new emerging trends that all accountants must be very familiar with, because it helps us to prepare our financial reporting in an integrated format. This is a new thing, and all accountants must become very conversant with it. So this is a very great opportunity for ACCA and other affiliated institutions with the ACCA to have a discussion and a forum on.
The forum is part of many initiatives by the ACCA to support members with adequate knowledge on the new trends in financial reporting.
Now, General Manager in charge of business for Techno Ghana, Daniel Glover, is calling on the government and the media to support business owners in the country through practical workshops, innovative ways of optimizing business profits. Speaking at the launch of the Techno Common 20 series, he urged African business owners to change their business mindset of ownership to partnership.
Here today, there is a lesson that I want us to learn from this. And it is that in Ghana and in Africa, for other parts of the world where we find ourselves, we can also trust one another, be transparent with one another, and if we do, we can also attain great heights and make giant strides in the world of industry. Businesses in Ghana and Africa have been lacking in the formation of successful partnerships and joint ventures. But this one is a success story that needs to be told again and again. How does this happen? Well, it simply means that there's something that you can do that differentiates you from your competition, and that is your unique selling proposition. And there is something that another person can do that differentiates him from his competition. Now, if the two of you can identify areas which you can complement each other and come together as one unit, you will produce positive synergies which will result in more than double what you would have earned if you were producing individually. How can we?
That's all for business this afternoon. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business, and Beverly Broom. Sports is next.
Let's do sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. The Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium will undergo renovation. This is according to the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Osif. The sector minister toured the facility on Thursday, and following his interaction with the media, he revealed that the facility has got a lifespan of about 10 years, and it is important it goes through renovation process to keep it in good shape. There's more in the following report. Speaking to the media after a tour of the facility, he revealed the stadium has got about a decade lifespan and is committed to providing the resources that would keep it in good shape.
We are today on a working visit to inspect this sports facility or the sports Tamale, the Ali Muhammad Sports Stadium. And the maintenance is something that we have to work on. The regional director have briefed me that this project have 10 years lifespan for major renovations to be done. And that's the essence of this working visit, to see the challenges that this facility is going through so that we can renovate it.
It is unclear when renovation works will commence, but he admonished the National Sports Authority and other auxiliary workers to maintain the facility for the people of the North.
Once we finish, we will compile a report, and the report will form a basis for the renovations work to be carried on. And I also want to appeal to the workers here that this facility have to be maintained very well, because this is the only major facility that we have for the entire 5 northern regions. And if we mismanage it and we don't maintain it well, then they won't have any such facility again to use for our sporting activities. So we want to appeal to them. We know they are doing their best under the very difficult circumstances, but it's just an appeal to them that whatever is here, they should manage it as if it is their personal property, because if it is your personal property, you won't let it to deteriorate. We can't give timelines, because I said the reports that will be gathered here will form the basis for the renovation. Once we get there, it's all going to form. We have to write to finance to get commencement certificate to ensure that we have funding to be able to do that. Until all the funding issues are secured, the procurement process are done, you can't give timelines.
This will be the first time the Ali Muhammad Stadium will see a major facelift since its hosting of the 2008 African Cup of Nations. The facility currently hosts Premier League matches for Tamale City and Real Tamale United, as well as Division 1 and Women Premier League teams. For the first time in about 5 years, the National Hockey Championship took place in Kumasi. My colleague Steve Zando was there and put together this report.
It's been 5 years since the National Hockey Championship was last organized. Upon its return, 6 regions, namely the Western, Volta, Greater Accra, Central, Eastern and Host Ashanti region, staged a battle of supremacy in the men's division on the hockey pitch of Pajo Stadium at K University Kumasi. Central, Greater and Ashanti competed for honors in the women's division. After 3 days of competitive fixtures, Central region and Greater Accra region qualified to the final of the women's category, with Accra beating their rivals 2-0. For the men's division, Ashanti region and Greater Accra qualified to the final, an exciting contest that was close to call. The Accra-based team took a 2-goal lead, and in the last quarter of the match, the hosts piled pressure on their opponents. Despite pulling 1 goal back, Ashanti could not make their dominance count in the last part of the final. Greater Accra clinched gold once again and lifted the trophy to the admiration of the officials and players who participated. Their coach, Isaac Moses, was excited after annexing the cup in Kumasi.
I'm excited. At least it's good to see different regions with young players up and coming. To me, it's very good. On my side, to parade the young ones. Although I have 3 national team players, but they are younger than the national team, so I build the team around them, and I'm impressed.
Of the first National Hockey Championship in about 5 years. And this will wrap up sports here on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Up next is Showbiz.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Nari and dancehall artist Stoneboy, as part of his media tour for his album, made a stop at the multimedia group. During his visit, he paid a courtesy call on the COO, Kenansa, to show gratitude for the support the media giant has given him and his career over the years.
I appreciate the humility, the back to the all of the things we do. We don't do what we do for ourselves. You know, if left to us alone, who are we? We are just one of many people. But the essence of the platform is for the people. Not us, for the people. So whether these are artists, whether these are newsmakers, these are this is for them. And we just have to make it credible so that when people come on it, whatever we put out there carries the weight it should. We will strive to do that.
And now more than ever, we need your support because we're breaking grounds internationally, and the foundation has to still propel us the more. It shouldn't be like, because they sort of graduated, let's just keep hanging, and that. So I'm also
we're always there for you guys.
Thank you very much.
Always there for you guys.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the Artist of the Year, Black Sheriff, has revealed to Andy Dusty that he was sure of winning the Album of the Year category at the just ended VGMAs. According to him, everyone in the category deserves to win, and he's okay with the outcome.
I had a funny feeling you were not very sure you were going to win.
The Artist of the Year. Maybe for all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just Album of the Year with I'll like 90% sure.
That you win.
Yeah.
You seem to be very disappointed with that.
Not very disappointed. But you see, it's like we enter like JHS fresh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows, say, the school, if I see kiddies, I say, yo, pick this rubber, pick this thing. So if I go, I won't be like compound overseer or like compound prefect for the school. You give him say, oh, they go vote for me. Yeah, but you go, then far. But the person they vote give you to, say, oh, they deserve her.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes.
Oh, so you think that King Promise deserved it?
Oh, he deserve him. Everybody for the category did it.
But your biggest disappointment not winning Album of the Year, when they announced it, what came to your mind immediately at that very moment?
Yawa. That was my thought. Yeah.
So Yawa means what? The award be Yawa.
No.
Okay. So it be Yawa. I find change.
What we were thinking would happen, then happen. So Yawa, then we move on from there.
You really wanted to pick the album of the year. Was it to please your label or your team for the hard work, or yourself?
No.
Or was there any other definition for that?
For the album itself. So, cause me, I understand my creations as like babies, things that are here and about to live forever. Yeah, so for the album itself, and for my fans and for myself, for my team, for everyone that's been believing in me and whatever I create.
There's more showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins, also on myjoyonline.com/entertainment. That we offer showbiz here on Joy News today. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Hello, beautiful Becky. That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.